Folks, our first on-demand workshop, How to Become a Coffee Consultant, is now available for you to learn at your own pace for just €50, and it comes with a certificate upon completion. Go to mapitforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for more details. Support this podcast by supporting our sponsors. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 1 of a 5-part series with Rana Hassanieh. Rana, welcome to the podcast. It is a pleasure to have this conversation. We are going to, this has been a long time coming. I think, I became aware of your brilliance thanks to Sara Al-Ale. Shout out to our mutual friend, Sara. Sara just speaks so highly of you. And Nawar Adra, who met you in Dubai, he looked at me and he said, she's brilliant. And so I've been waiting for the opportunity. We knew it was going to happen to have you on the podcast. And so now it's happening. And you are currently based in Lebanon.
True.
And you guys have been through some very challenging times over the last few years. On top of the challenging times that we as a global community have been through. And so in this series, folks, we're going to talk about something that I think a lot of people are thinking about, but not many people have experienced it the way that Lebanon is experiencing it. And inflation is a big subject that people are thinking about around the world because everyone's experiencing a cost of living crisis. But you guys are not just experiencing inflation, you guys are living through hyperinflation. And you are a cafe owner and you are running a cafe in a country that's experiencing hyperinflation, as well as all of the challenges that Lebanon has been experiencing over the last few years. So I feel really privileged and very humbled that you would come onto the podcast and have an open conversation about this. Our industry is lucky to have people like you that are prepared to share this kind of wisdom. So thank you ahead of the whole 5 episodes.
Yes.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much, Lee. And really, it's so nice, Sarah and and Nawar as well. So thank you so much for pointing out, and I'm lucky as well. And you mentioned before, this is the 999. Did you say?
We
900.
This is 898, and then in 2 episodes from now it's going to be 900 episodes, which is just wild. And I'm so proud that you're going to be the 900th episode guest. So
thank you, Lee. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I mean, definitely it's been quite a challenge being in Beirut, and on top of that trying to really run the cafe very smoothly in the middle of the crisis. So there's 2 things here. We're talking about hyperinflation. Definitely there's something we need to highlight, which is the complete failure of the banking system in Lebanon. So this makes it really super difficult to manage smoothly. I mean, in general, it's already quite a challenge to run a coffee shop on day to day without having challenges. So imagine not being able to, you don't have access to, just a little brief. Basically, you don't have access to your previous funds anymore. So everything that we had in the bank account in Lebanon, complete the percentage of what you had completely went down. So for example, so for example, if you have $1,000 in the bank, that's equivalent to $15 at the moment.
Oh, okay. So because of hyperinflation, the value of your money completely went down.
Went down.
It's not that they stole it from you or anything like that. It's just
it just
shrinkage.
It shrink, and also you have a limit to how much you can access. You know, you can't really
Wow.
take all of your money out anymore. So you have a limit to how much you can actually withdraw from your, and also you know, the credit cards, you can't really, you know, pay anymore for, you know, to purchase from outside. So that was really, really a challenge for me because Edda was formed around that, you know. So
Edda
in
is
the
the
middle
name
of
of your
the
cafe.
Edda Arabica was actually like you know, built during that period, you know.
Mm.
So everything was a challenge, like the vision that I had in terms of like how I would like the space to be completely had to like change. We had to adapt. So you know, but we're looking at things in a positive way, in a
Okay.
way, you know. Um,
Tell me.
so yeah, so you've got, you know, we're talking about the impacts. Like we
Mm.
have obviously the coffee, the cost of coffee production. You know,
Mm.
that's a challenge. The imports and exports. I mean, people who are, you know, bringing green beans into the country. I mean, that's quite a challenge for them. You know, basing that. I don't know if everyone knows, but the Lebanese lira is pegged to the dollars.
To the
So
US dollar.
previously, yeah, so previously, like every $1 is 1,500 lira. At the moment today, $1 is 100,000.
Mm.
So, and every day it's quite different. So let's say you've purchased something based on that. By the time it gets to you, you know, you've either lost or you've gained, or, you know, so
Mm.
you have to like adapt to that. Um, so, you know, opening around that period was quite a challenge because we didn't know how to price uh, the coffee anymore. You know, I'd purchased the
Right.
coffee in you know, X amount. Uh, Monday, this is how much the coffee is selling for. Tuesday, another price. Wednesday, you know. So that was when everything started. So, but at the moment, everything is in dollars. So this way, we kind of protect um, uh, the profits that we're actually trying to, you know, get to.
So
But
can I just ask you something there?
yeah,
So if I understand it correctly, you've now had to, even though the lira is the currency in the country, in the cafe, you're charging in dollars
yes, we
just so
are.
that you can keep things stable.
Exactly. I mean, we really didn't want to do that at the beginning because, you know, it's a bit complicated. So, for example, a lot of people, their income is in Lebanese lira.
Mm.
So it's not really fair. Let's say they're getting, you know, 1,000 Lebanese lira. Oh, so, you know, 1 million Lebanese lira, for example, you know. So if the coffee one day is 1,500, you know, the next day is, you know, 300. So that's like really like the consumer like can no longer like, you know, have the option, you know.
Mm.
Um, oh, sorry, they can because it's just in liras, you know, but we
Yep.
would lose, right?
Yep.
But we couldn't do that anymore, you know. And there was a few times where we had to completely shut down the shop, and not only us, many people, they just had to shut down, stop selling, just to kind of like for the lira to
Equilibrium.
regulate again.
Mm.
Exactly. So, you know, so that was really, really tough. But at the moment, everywhere you go is just, you know, because by the time it started till now, I mean, there is like, you know, the dollars is already like being generated, you know, like a
Mm.
lot of, you know, Lebanese people were like about um, between 4.5, 5 million roughly, I think, in Lebanon. But, you know, there's a lot of people who depend on families
Outside.
sending
Mm.
outside, you know, money. So this is like slowly kind of like being formed, which means we are able again to kind of adjust and have our prices, and they call it fresh dollars. So anything anything, yeah, it's quite an interesting terminology here. So if you have fresh dollars, which means like it's a new dollars coming into the country or into your account, you are able to like freely like maneuver all around with it, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
anything from the previous, like before the hyperinflation, you don't have like, you know, a say in it as much.
Because of the shrinkage. because it's already been consumed by all of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been, it sounds like life is quite day to day, from knowing how you're going to be able to move financially and economically, both personally and as a business. And the impacts have been wide reaching. I've seen stories about how bakers are changing the price of bread every single day. So
exactly,
it's that kind of.
So
go ahead.
So for example, Edda Arabica is so the way I was lucky enough that again, we're talking about previously, before we started recording, we're talking about how you work as a community. So that's major. So Edda is inside a bread republic and menagerie. So my partner Walid, he actually has been doing sourdough bread for years, and he has like a pasta station as well, like where he produces pasta. So he had to adjust like the prices quite a lot for that as well. So yeah, I mean, and also he had to reconsider quality as well,
Right.
because this is something we all had to go through. Like, okay, am I going to lower the prices? Am I going to keep the quality? Is it going to be a challenge keeping the quality? So these are the things that, like you really have to consider. Profit margin. I mean, are you willing to not hit that margin and just keep the quality? So yeah.
Yeah. In the next episode, folks, we're going to talk about the specifics of how a cafe survives hyperinflation. So we're going to dig into a lot of that stuff a lot more. So join us in the next episode. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave, and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.